Hey guys, the Brothers Boyd here, bringing you another video in our novel idea series. This is our second interview that we've done, and we're very excited about this video. If you look at Josh and I's shirt, you might get some idea of what we might be doing, but you may not have any idea what we're doing. And right behind Daniel's head there on his shelf, there's also some paraphernalia from where this is going. So we are going to go ahead and bring in our special guest, and I will introduce her, and we will get started from there. All right, guys. So joining us today on the Novel Idea series, this video we're making is Karen Whitfield, author of the book Bat-Driven West, and also known as the Bronze Age Batgirl. So Karen, we're so happy to have you here. It's good to see you. You want to tell our viewers kind of what brought about this book and how you became the Bronze Age Batgirl?
Hi, everybody. I'm the Bronze Age Batgirl, Karen Whitfield. And I want to say thank you to the Boyd brothers for having me on your show tonight. This is really exciting. And it's nice to meet you all, too. And I became the Bronze Age Batgirl in 1977. And I started traveling with Adam West and Burt Ward, Batman and Robin, in 1978, around August of 1978, and I traveled with them until about 1984, 85. I moved from North Carolina to Los Angeles when I became the Bronze Age Batgirl. Then in 1985, I moved back to North Carolina, and then in 2 years of that time, I traveled and met them at different personal appearances as well. And I wrote the book in 2017 when I had moved back from California to North Carolina. I turned in my bat cave to my bat cave and just decided to have children. That's what my intention was when I moved back home. And I had them and I raised them all those years. And then in 2016, I went out to Los Angeles and saw the Bat family. And coming back home in 2017, actually January of 2017, I decided to write my book about the journey, and I never thought that I would, and I decided to. So 2017, in which it's impeccable timing, it was the 50th anniversary of Batgirl, and at the time I really didn't think about that, and it was. And so I wrote it for 2.5 years, and I finished it in November 2019, and I decided to publish it, and then 2020 came and the whole world stopped, and so 2021 I started the personal appearances in June of 2021, and so I've been now on Comic-Con tour for the last over a year now, and it's been a wonderful journey, even where when I did come back, this journey the last year has just been amazing, meeting some wonderful people, and with you, including you guys.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's so the Comic-Con thing, we actually did our first one here in New Bern about 2 weeks ago, and it kind of gets in your blood. It's a lot of fun meeting new people, and just we really enjoyed meeting you in Greenville, and just it was a lot really cool, and just it's so cool to meet new people. So we kind of wanted to ask you a few questions. One of the questions mine was, you talked about how you toured with Adam and Bert on tour. What were they like in costume and out? Like when they were in costume, were they fully Batman and Robin? Um, like we saw on the old show.
Yes, they were actually. It was amazing and surreal to see them when they were not in their suits, and then they put on their suits. How it empowered both of them. It was just amazing to watch that. And I did travel with them for almost 6 months before I became the Bronze Age Batgirl. And then when I put on my suit, I felt the same empowerment after that happened. But when I did watch them, it was pretty cool. And then before they would put on their suits, they were Bert and Adam, and at that time, a lot of people didn't know who they really were as people because it was 10 years after the show, and so to be with them the way I was pretty often, that just to see them like that from who they were, and then became Batman and Robin. Adam was very fun loving. He was gracious. He always made jokes. He was very lighthearted, and I can see why they call him the Bright Knight. He was always happy and jovial and told jokes, and it's really no matter where we went, it was pretty fun. And a lot of people didn't know that about him until as years went on after the show. But just to watch him be that way, and he was like a little kid, so to speak, and we just had the best time. And then to watch him put on the suit, he was Batman through and through, and he would still tell his little uh, jokes here and there to the fans and people coming through the line. And they weren't sure how to take him because they really didn't know his personality at the time, but it was fun to watch it. But mainly he was pretty serious about the role when he was in the suit. And then Bert as well. Bert was fun. He was more of the business sense of us. He basically told us where we were going, who we were meeting, what we were doing. Adam and I were like two kids following Bert along. And then when he put on his suit, the roles changed. He was, the sidekick. He was Robin the Boy Wonder, with all his holy words and things that he would say. And he was more secondary to Batman. But in real life, it was opposite. Adam and I were just following Bert. He was the one in charge as we were traveling. It was pretty interesting to see the two. And Bert's and Adam's relationship and friendship was just amazing. They were like truly brothers. And I would always tell them, they belonged to each other. They were friends for many, many years, and they knew how to play off each other. Adam was more of a easygoing person, and Bert was more serious type of person. And Adam knew how to bring that fun little boy in Bert's heart out. It was really cute when to see the two of them. He made them laugh. They'd always talk about things they went through and things like that together, traveling and also in the show.
That's where all the chemistry came from on the show then, because the show's great to watch.
Right. Just off the top of your head, how many holy words do you think you heard in your 9 to 10 years?
I can't even hundreds. In life, he would say that, holy Jewellikers, and he would always, say, holy, and I don't even think he realized how many that he would say. I think it just kind of sort of come natural, and every time he would do that, I would laugh. I'd say, there it is.
Nice.
We got the holies today. It's really cute.
Yes, about this time that you were started, you say you started about 77, 78. Adam was doing a lot of like animation as Batman at that time. He was doing a lot of voiceover. Did they ever ask you to become like Batgirl in the animated series at any point?
No, actually, the reason why the Bronze Age Batgirl, they asked me to travel as that, is because 1975 is when the Batman Family comics came out. And then in 1977, that February until about May, it was 2 seasons only, where Batman, Adam was voiceover Batman, and Burt Ward was Robin. And then Melindy Britt, she was Batgirl as well as Catwoman in that. So if I met Bert in September of 77, if I had met him earlier when that show was filmed, the animated was filmed, maybe I could have been the voiceover, but I did not meet them until afterwards. And I don't remember any other animated during that time that I was with them. But Melindy Britt, she was Catwoman and Batgirl on that show, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you know her. She was She-Ra, the Princess of Power in 1985. So she was the voiceover for that. And at the time also, I have a Southern accent, as you see. And I was really my accent was very Southern when I moved out there. So I would have had to take maybe some voiceover lessons, things like that if I was in there, which I was in the process of taking voice lessons anyway. But I'm not sure how much of a Southern accent they wanted in the animated series either. So I don't know. Maybe it could have worked out if I'd stayed and they had done that during my time with them.
I would have watched it.
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Of course, we're all Southern. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I do want to have an audible of my book. I'm working on that. And I do want to be the one now that is in the book that I'm from North Carolina and I'm from the South that I want to, I want to speak it myself. That'd be pretty neat.
That would be, and listening to your stories, it would be great to hear. Just hearing you read that book would be a joy. So my first question is, did you ever get to ride in the Batmobile?
No, but I sat in it. I wish I could have ridden in it. That would have been really neat. But I did sit in it. We went to an award show and it was there. So I was able to sit in it. So that was pretty cool. And again, we didn't take a camera with us. We didn't have cameras back then as we do now. I mean, if I had my phone that has cameras, I would have thousands of pictures, but we just didn't have any. So I don't have a picture of me sitting in it. There may be one out there somewhere, but I don't have it. And, it was really fun to sit in it. And it was more fun because, Bert and Adam was there. So I was able to sit in both times with them, which was neat. Yeah.
Just a follow up to that one too. On the series, Batgirl had a cycle. Did you ever see the motorcycle that Batgirl had?
No, unfortunately, I did not. Mm-mm. It would have been fun. I would have ridden it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know how to drive, not motorcycles, but little motorcycles. I used to drive them when I was younger, so
Cool.
that would have been fun.
Yes.
It's obvious that you love this character and you're still like talking about her to this day. Do you follow Batgirl and other mediums like comics, movies, or animation, things like that still?
Yes, I follow everything I can. I want to learn everything I can about her. Which when I was asked to do this, when I traveled with them, I really learned a lot about Batman and Robin when I traveled with them. I was 9 years old when Batman came on the first time. So I watched them reel. I was 9, and then I was introduced to when Yvonne Craig came on as Batgirl. I was 10 years old. I'll never forget how it made me feel. And I felt really empowered just to watch that. And she was the first superhero one woman that, girl that we had was introduced on TV. And so she really empowered a lot of us. And I felt that greatly when I first watched her. I thought she was really beautiful. So 10 years later, as life happens, when I became the Bronze Age Batgirl, it just reminded me of what she was like and how it made me feel. So I tried to do the same thing when I was out in public and, talking to little girls and things like that. But she, it was pretty neat. So when I came back and I learned a lot about her through the comics when I was traveling with them. But when I came back home, when I hung up my cape, I left it. I did not keep up with it. I left it because I wanted to come home to raise children. And I knew that if it stayed in my spirit, it would be hard to make the decision to 100% be a mom instead of wanting to travel with them or be out in the world being that. So I did not. I did not follow it. I did not, because I didn't think I'd ever come back around to it. But when I made the decision to do this in 2016, and then in 17, when I started writing the book, I educated myself about Batgirl, where she went, what she was doing, everything about her. And I was so proud of Batgirl, of what she had become. And then what happened in 1989 of her being Oracle. And she's the genius of the superhero world. And I was just really, I love that. I love to hear that she took that inability and made it wonderful and the most one of the biggest superheroes in the comic world through that, and then afterwards what she's done and how she's became a huge team player because she had Cassie and Stephanie Brown as her Batgirls, and then as she's the leader of the Birds of Prey, and how she's had Huntress and Black Canary and them to be a part of her team. So how she's one of the biggest team players of the comic world as well. She's really impressed me greatly. So I did educate myself on where she'd been because I am her. So I needed to do that. Especially I talked to the fans because a lot of fans know everything about Batman, everything about the superhero world, everything about Batgirl. A lot of them do. So, and I've learned some things even talking to fans. And so that's why I wanted to know exactly everything about her.
That's great. I'm going to do a little follow-up here. I know you probably know the controversy here. The Batgirl movie is being canceled. How disappointed are you in that?
That's a really great question. I was looking forward to it because it's been 55 years, right? 1967 to now. It's been over 55 years. So a lot of people, have been waiting, especially us girls, us women have been waiting for this. And I was disappointed. Because I felt like I was an ambassador to this since I heard last year when they started writing it in 2017, which is another timing after I started writing my book in January 2017. They started writing the script of it in March of 2017. And so when they finally had it filmed and ready to go this past March, it took that amount of time to have everything finished. And we were looking forward to it in this December. And then so I was telling everybody, a lot of people had not even heard. So I was telling everybody about the movie and very proud of it and excited. So when I heard, I was very disappointed. So again, I educated what was the reasoning of it. So I understand it now. I mean, it was sad, but if for some reason the critics that watched it wasn't happy with it, then the way I feel about it, we've been waiting so long for the movie that if it wasn't good, it would not be. It would be better to wait and have the product that they really want to have, and we will be happier about it than if it wasn't as good as they were hoping. And I know Leslie Grace, she's beautiful, and I'm really proud of her, and I'm glad that she's the modern age. The Burnside Batgirl is the take they were taking on it, and she wasn't her fault. It was a few other things, and I feel that they'll come out with another one, and that she'll do great, and they'll be happy about it, and I'm okay with that. It's better to wait than have something that's not as good as we were hoping, and then what do? It's hard to make it the first one good, so you really want a good product. So now I understand, even though it was really disappointing, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I think the bar is set really high for comic book movies now. I mean, what
Yeah.
Marvel's doing is just setting the bar high. DC is doing great things. I love this Justice League, the Snyder Cut. So if we can get that level of film with Batgirl, I think that's where we should be.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. And Wonder Woman, they've done such a great job with Gal Gadot with Wonder Woman, and I'm really hoping it's going to be hard to match that, but I'm really hoping that they can get close to that at least. And I'm that's what I'm hoping for. Not anything that's just not on a good level. We've waited so long, so we really do want a good Batgirl movie to come out.
Yes.
Right. Karen Whitfield for Batgirl is what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe long lost Aunt Batgirl or the long lost grandmother Batgirl.
The mentor of the new Batgirl.
The mentor of the Batgirl. That would be fun. I mean, that would be fun.
Okay. So my next question is, and this one kind of ties in with the Batgirl. When you're doing the touring and stuff, how did the fans respond when you started coming out as Batgirl? Like the little girls and the young girls seeing you come out as Batgirl.
The first time in 1978.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so Yes, at first, when they asked me if I would like to be the Batgirl because Yvonne Craig wasn't traveling with them, she was in her mid 40s. I was afraid, and of course I wanted to when they asked me, but I was afraid. I didn't want to. I did not want to wear her suit and then pretend like I'm her or anything like that. I did not want to do that. But when they said I was going to be the Bronze Age Batgirl, it's the one right after her, and that's the era that I was in, and the age that I was in of comics. I was very happy about it. And then I thought when I come out, people would say, "Well, you're not the one," or little girls, or how everybody knows. You're not the one that was in the movie. You're not the well, she wasn't in the movie, but in the series, and no one really, I don't remember anyone ever asking me that because, comics come first, and a lot of people were already reading the comics. And then when the animated show came on, they knew the Bronze Age Batgirl was in that. So it worked. I mean, everybody just sort of knew, and it was different. It was live performances versus the TV series. So it sort of kept everything separated. Between she and I. And the little girls just loved me. I mean, the mothers loved me. They just were so nervous but yet excited, and I just could see in their faces and their voices. And I mean, exactly like I was saying earlier, that I remember how it made me feel. So I wanted to make everybody else feel that way, to be excited to see me as I was Yvonne when I saw her as Batgirl. And it was just really cool to be able to see their faces and eyes just say, "There's a girl superhero," which is really really neat.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So my next question: did you get to work with any other cast members, and if so, who was your favorite?
That's a great question. I wish I did. I didn't. I met them. I met all of them actually, except for the Catwomen. I didn't meet Yvonne Craig. I did talk to her on the phone. Unfortunately, I wish I could have met her, but I didn't meet Julie Newmar, or Eartha Kitt, or Leanne Merriweather. I wish I could have met all them. And it's still a possibility. Leanne Merriweather and Julie Newmar are still with us. But no, unfortunately, it was just the three of us that went out. I didn't work with anybody else, but I did meet them. I met all of them except for the Catwomen.
That's awesome. That's awesome because those were some of the best renditions. I love Cesar Romero's Joker, Burgess Meredith's Penguin. Just great people. Great actors.
Frank Orton, he was a
Yeah.
funny guy. he
Yeah.
was he was a very energetic, funny guy too in real life.
Right. And also, just to share a little bit, I've read your book. It was, and one of the things you mentioned, there's like a little story just to give some people a little teaser. You said you were out with Bert one day, and you said that he walked up and started talking to the tallest guy you had ever seen in your life. And once he got done talking, you realized it was actually Alfred from the show. So that
Yeah.
would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that was really neat. He was very tall, and we were in the car, and he was walking his little tiny dog, and Alfred was really tall. I mean, he was like taller than Adam. I think he was like 6'7" or something. He was pretty
Wow.
tall, and and the closer we got, he said, "Oh." He said, "That's Alan Napier," and I'm like, "Alan Napier, it sounds very." And then we stopped, and he introduced us, and then I realized that it was the butler. Yeah.
Nice. That's very cool. That's very cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So you did that for until 85, and then home call, which is North
Yes.
Carolina, which, as we said, we're all native North Carolinians and we love it. I mean, it's a beautiful state
Yay.
to live in. We absolutely love it. I mean, Josh and I are here in New Bern, Daniel's in Rocky Mount, and you're in central North Carolina. Our last question for you is, and we'll kind of share what our favorites are too. What is your favorite like vacation spot in North Carolina?
Well, I have a couple. Do you mind if I
Okay.
tell
No,
a couple?
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go for it.
Yeah.
I love our beaches. I lived in California, and the California beaches. When I first went out there and I was at their beach, I'm like, this is not a beach. I mean, because the California beaches, they have a lot of oil spans. I mean, there's this oil line and seaweed, and it's very cold. here is beautiful. It's almost like bath water, and it's just beautiful sand. And I love our North Carolina beaches, and every one of them I can go to. I love to enjoy them. And I love Wrightsville Beach, and that's one of my favorites in Wilmington. I love going to Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach, and also that's the mountain side. I mean the ocean side of it. The mountains. I mean, if anybody can go to Asheville and see the Biltmore, it's just absolutely beautiful and just amazing. It's just magical to be there, and then to take that drive over to Batcave, North Carolina, is pretty cool. And it's the same road, and you stay on that road, and then you go to Chimney Rock. And then you see the Chimney, like Rock Village is really neat. And then stay on that road a little bit further, and it's Lake Lure. And I love Lake Lure, and that's where Dirty Dancing was filmed.
Yeah.
And Lake Lure reminds me of a small Lake Tahoe, and I absolutely love Lake Tahoe. That's one of my favorite spots in the whole world. And so Lake Lure, when I went there, reminded me of that. So if anybody really wants to like the mountains, area, I would suggest to go to that route. It's really cool. And which, it's in the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and then going to Grandfather Mountain. But yeah, the beaches of North Carolina, and again, Wrightsville and Wilmington would be my favorite.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I love the mountains because we're here on the beaches mainly. I do love the beaches. It's great. We'll go sit on the beach and I'll read comic books all day in my chair and stuff like that. But I love the mountains. I primitive camp up there. We climb a mountain. We find
Oh
a
wow!
waterfall and we camp. And we actually went to Biltmore 2 years ago. And
Wow!
we were there, and right after COVID had kind of subsided a little bit. So fortunately for us, they weren't letting large crowds in. So we were in groups of 10. So we really got to
Oh my
enjoy the
goodness, that's
whole
awesome.
house, and it was so nice.
It's magical, isn't it?
It is. It's a beautiful place, and
It is.
it's so big. Wayne Manor. you know, yeah,
Wayne Manor. If they
yeah.
can use that for Wayne Manor in one of the movies, it would be just great.
Yes.
That would work.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Biltmore for Wayne Manor. We'll start the campaign.
Yes.
We'll start.
I actually got to see Biltmore on Christmas time. It's beautiful at Christmas time.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Yeah, that's when I was there. I went last time I went there was it was the weekend after Thanksgiving, which they had all of their decorations for Christmas and things up, and it was in 2019, I believe it was. Beautiful.
Well, that's a trip I've never got to go on, but that's one that we want to do at some point. But the mountains is where
the
I
bucket list trip.
Yes, yes. I love the mountains of North Carolina. It's just
Yeah,
beautiful up there. It's
Mhm.
nice. When we went this summer, we actually stayed in a cabin on top of a mountain in Maggie Valley, looking down at the clouds. It was
Wow.
beautiful.
And the movie Outlander, I don't know if you've seen those series, but they end up in North Carolina, which is really cool. It's a great movie, The Outlander, and to see, they end up in North Carolina, and it talks about our North Carolina cities, and that's a pretty cool movie. We have a lot of movies that's filmed here in North Carolina.
We do.
If you really look at them.
We do. We do. Wilmington seems to be a good hub too. We get a lot of things filmed there as well. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we've enjoyed our time here with Karen tonight. We appreciate her coming on and thank her for being here with us. Make sure you go out and get that book, and I want to give her a chance to plug that book one more time and tell us about her upcoming appearances, where she's going to be.
Okay, here's my book, Bat-Driven West, and right now I'm writing my second edition. So I'm adding stories that I didn't add here the first time, and extending some of the stories that I added, and also what happened after the book, for what's going on and the people I've met, and what's really has been amazing in this journey that I've been on in my second edition. So, but you can find this on Amazon. And also Blurb. And Blurb, you can also buy it a hard copy if you'd like to have a hard copy there. And I sell them myself at all my Comic Cons. And then at Instagram, if you private message me on Instagram or Facebook, I'll be glad to send you one signed and I'll be glad to do that. And also, if you do buy one on Blurb or Amazon, if you find me at a Comic-Con wherever I am, close to your city, I'd be glad to sign it free of charge. And we'll take a picture with it, and I would appreciate that. And my next Comic-Con is actually going to be at the comic store Acme Comics this Saturday for Batman Day. So I'm going to be there from 11 to 4. And then October the 1st and 2nd, I'm going to be at Cosplay World in Richmond. And it's the very first Comic-Con like this. It's just professional cosplayers going to be there. Of course, they're going to have vendors and people like that, but it's going to be mainly for cosplayers. And I am the original cosplayer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes, so I was a cosplayer before cosplayer was a word.
That's right.
And when we were out, there were no one dressed up but us. So they do want me to be part of their cosplay worlds, and he's going to try to have one here in Raleigh, but it'll be cosplay. It's called Cosplay World Raleigh. There's going to be one in Florida and Texas, but they're going to be all Cosplay World of wherever it is. But I'm going to be there. And it's going to be the first Comic-Con that I'm going to dress out in. Not at my table, but I'm going to have somewhere they're going to have me where I'm going to take pictures with people, and I'm going to dress up as Batgirl. And I've got my red hair made already to go with it. So it's going to be fun. So the next one's going to be Fayetteville, October 15th and 16th, and I'm planning on doing that as well there. I'm going to just do that at Comic-Cons that they feel that would go with the photo ops. But October 15th and 16th is going to be in Fayetteville, and then October 22nd and 23rd, I'm going to be in Slidell, Louisiana, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And then let's see what's next. And then I think in November, in November there's going to be a Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm going to the second week of November, and then the end of November is going to be at Myrtle Beach Grand Slam. And I believe that might be the last one of this year. And I've done close to almost 20 of them this year so far. So.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It is a lot of fun. Karen, for our viewers, if you want to let them know what they need to look for on Facebook and Instagram, Live Like Batgirl, I believe is your handle up there.
Yes, Instagram is Live Like Batgirl, and the Facebook is Karen Whitfield Batgirl.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
So people can get out there and find you and look at all these great pictures we're finding of you. It has been so great having you here tonight. Thank you for coming and speaking with us. I know the fans are going to enjoy this when we get this up, and I'm excited for them to see your interview. Go out and find Karen at the cons, guys. Take a picture with her, get your book, get it signed. She's a joy to listen to. She tells some great stories. And if you grew up watching the show, either you were there or you watched it in reruns. I know it used to come on TV constantly when I was growing up. Go and meet her, because she's a great person and she has some great stories about the cast.
Thank you.
And again, we thank you so much, Karen, for being part of this. We look forward to, we should be, I think two of the three of us will be at Fayetteville Comic-Con, yes. So we will get to meet you there again, and hopefully get that picture that we forgot to do last time.
Yeah, please, let's do. And everybody come see me. I'd love to meet you all as well. And thank you all for having me part of your show again. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.